Hey Gus, can you hear me? Hey Gus, can you hear me? I can hear me. There's a bit of a delay. It's very weird. I don't know what happened to my text editor. It's supposed to come back, but it's not. Can you hear me? You turn that off. That's annoying. Oh, there we go. Got to. Yeah, I don't know how this all works. There's 3 people watching now. It's interesting. Want the chat to pop out. How do we do that? There we go. Sure, what do you need, Gus? I don't need this because I'm using VS Code again. We've got a terminal. I can see you. You don't want to take you from an intended task where you speak about a grid column medium 5 format. I'm having trouble setting it up on my page. Okay, so hold on here and we'll look at my portfolio because I know you've looked at that, and I'll show you what I did. And so it doesn't really matter, you know, the way the way that syntax works. COL column dash. I thought it was dash MD dash 5. That's what I've been using. Um, I gotta go back in here and change where I'm at. I was going to do my 100 days of code and get it formatted early, and uh, hitting the wrong buttons on the keyboard. But we'll just change that and see. Okay. Was using brackets, and now I'm back onto VS Code. I don't know why that is, except for I saw somebody using it this morning in a YouTube tutorial. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. So I'm gonna go back to it, and I need to get all. I've got a ton more plugins on my laptop than I do on my desktop for some reason. It's because I haven't used my desktop much lately. So, make sure. So, I know Gus, you were asking about Git. Um, and so if you can look down here in my command prompt, I'm not sure how well you can see that. Um, this is only a test. Oh yeah, you found the font awesome, huh? Yeah, font awesome's awesome. So Git checkout. So if you look down here, I've got issue 56, which I had a ton of issues I put in my GitHub for every little thing um, that I didn't like, or every little feature or something like that. I would create an issue for it, and I kind of worked my way through it. And I bounced back and forth between my desktop and my laptop. And so at some point I was working on issue 56 on this desktop. I'm sure I finished it on my laptop. So I'm going to check out master. Um, it says I did something. Git checkout master index. So now my Git status tells you a lot about what's going on with Git. And so I need to Git pull because it says down here, use Git pull to update your local branch. I am 19 commits behind the master that's actually on the GitHub server. So you can see there, this actually, raise this up here. This shows all the changes. Hey Gus, is the black looking fine or should I make it lighter? I tend to like the black when I'm working on it, but I did a presentation once and the guy that helped me said white looks better. So let me know here in the chat. Actually, hey Gus, you got a microphone? Testing, testing. I wonder what happens if you go into the voice chat on Discord, if I'll be able to hear it, and then if we do something real quick just to make sure. Actually, maybe I'll do it on here. I'm wondering if you don't join the voice chat, if maybe we'll be able to hear you on the stream. Okay, so back to this. So basically, I just pulled down the code that I'd saved on the server, the GitHub server. And this shows all the changes from the code that was on my local machine. It shows that I made it, there were changes made to index HTML, to main.js, and to main.css. This kind of shows the pluses and minuses. So it added some stuff and it took some stuff away. There are 24 changes overall, 7 changes overall, 36 changes overall. So there you go. 39 insertions, 28 deletions. So back to the question at hand. So you're asking about the column layout, right? Um, so let's go. Let's fold some of this stuff up. No, we don't fold the whole body up. Nav bar. This is probably a good example. Oh, is this actually the thing you had a question about? Because it looks like that's what you meant. So let's also go look at the so here's the code as it stands right now. And we can talk about why this looks this way now that we have this here. So what I have here is I have my nav, and then under that I have this first section that I gave the ID about. And Bootstrap, if you want to keep everything kind of contained and as in a row, it's not necessarily a row. Um, this can be multiple rows. Like this actually, I believe, is multiple rows, or it's multiple columns and multiple rows. So um, you give it a row class. And so if you go to the Bootstrap documentation too, actually it shows this really well. I used Bootstrap 4. Grid. So grid layout, no getter. Okay. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. So that's not what I'm looking for. I guess it's this. So you got a row, one of two, one of two, one of three, one of three, one of three. And so in this case, they just give it an equal width. So row, I think so here's a better example. Column large 2. That's still not a good example. I think my code's probably a better example. So I've got everything in this section in a row. This first one here is column medium 5. So everything medium and up, and then that's where you go to the documentation. You can actually see what the definition of a medium is. So medium is anything that has a display width of 768 pixels or greater. And so in that case, what it does is it allocates 5 columns out of the 12, because Bootstrap uses this 12 column kind of idea where everything is divided into 12s. Even if you subdivide, like in this case, I'm going to subdivide these into, like, this is a column of 5, and then if I wanted to subdivide it further, we divide that column of 5 into 12s. It's really handy because, like in web design, there's this idea of thirds. So you can, a lot of times there will be a third of the page will be something and the other 2/3 will be something else, or it'll just split it into threes. I read something about that one time. I think it applies to photography too. So in this case, I'm going to allocate 5 of these columns for this left section, and I'm going to offset it by 1 column. which means it pushes it away from the left edge of the screen by one column. So when you go in here and look, that's a column. That's not just me putting padding in there. That's actually a column. Then there's 5 columns here. Then there's a column. Then there's another 5 columns here. And I probably should have done this differently. Or I may do this differently and make this column here, then push everything over. And then that would be 1, 2, 3 columns. 12, that would leave me 9 left, which would be weird. Because then I would have to make this like 5 and this 4 or something like that. So maybe it's okay the way it is. I don't know. But I did push it away by one column. So that's what that's doing. And so that applies. Click here. Yeah, I don't like the way it highlights. So here's the entire div. For some reason. Let me show you a great extension here. Beautify, something beautify. That was VS Code beautify. Well, actually, this plugin here is pretty awesome because it'll actually fix all my divs and stuff for me. I don't think that's it. Maybe it is. I generally use the one that's the most popular. That is that. So go back in here. This one right here. That's one of the things I like about VS Code. The extensions are right here in the sidebar. So now we can look at this and it'll tell me how to use it. Okay, that's what I thought. Made a change to it. So, not sure what we're seeing here. I've lost my ability to highlight the div and have it look down here. But anyway, we've got about left, and then we've got about right. Oh, that's because you won't see that because it's farther down the page. So this is everything that's in that left column. Put the thumbnail side by side. Are you talking about on contact section? So that would be down here. I think you're talking about these font awesome things, which actually I'm going to change because of the thing you showed me. That other guy's profile I liked. And I also got somebody that looked at my page, said that these were too small and full size, which, as you can see here, if you really make this big, yeah, a lot of space. So I'll probably also change. This is actually, so there's, what I've done here is I made this like each section full view height, and then this is, I believe, 70 pixels of padding at the top. Portfolio takes up the entire screen, and then contacts does the same, with the exception of I've basically pinned the footer down here, and so I've got all this space. So I don't know what to do with that. I may put other stuff in there. I don't know, but I'm on mobile. Apparently, my email address goes wonky, so that's not showing it there. I don't know. I think it's some some people's Android phones are not liking that. So, okay. So yeah, the contacts section. If you look at my page, you can see what I'm talking about. So, where's the link to? What's the? It's your code pin, right? Let me go back to Discord because I'm sure you posted the link. John's. I like this guy's thing where he looks at it, looks at you. Oh, there we are. Okay. The heck happened there? I'm not seeing your contact section. Looks like your footer's way up here. I'm sure this is supposed to be your projects. So I'm gonna fork your pen here. Portfolio head, body. We don't need JavaScript. Assume you're not going to put any JavaScript in there, although I can show you a neat trick about your footer. Okay. One of the things I see here is like when you use extra small, remember that's going to be like a phone held in portrait mode. Your project, yeah, I noticed that your projects are piling on top of each other. So again, I'm going to collapse some of this stuff. Head, fluid container, nav, okay. That seems to all be working good, except it's a little offline with your name. But I'm sure that we can fix that with CSS. Okay. I wouldn't put a break here. Here's why. You're probably putting a break there because something's trying to wrap around, and you're probably better off handling that with CSS to make it not do that. So break would be something like if you were like wanted to um, maybe put some text in a paragraph, right? So like if your thing down here, you want to put a second kind of paragraph within your p tag, you could actually put a break in there. You have Font Awesome in here. Back to your head. Google APIs. Yep, Font Awesome. Okay. I wonder if I can do this. That didn't work. Yeah, your footer's totally not at the bottom of your page. Which is okay. Okay, well, I'm just going to add something in here. Like, just going to add a little div here. And we're going to use, I'm just going to straight up bootleg something right out of my page. Boom, pre-code camp. And Font Awesome's not working on your page. Or it's maybe some color. Inspect this. Maybe. Yeah. Um, let's try to isolate the problem by going in here and just commenting out a whole bunch of this stuff. Leave that. Leave your footer too, because I'll show you. So what I did there, just so you know, I don't know if you know this or not, Gus, is that if you hit Command /, it'll comment out all that. And then we're going to do a whole bunch of this stuff over here too. Just because if we get rid of all the styling, we'll be left with all the raw stuff. Like the raw rendering of just that HTML we got in there. You can do the same thing, Command or Control. I think you're using the Mac. Interestingly, that Font Awesome thing is not working. Interestingly, this whole thing is not commented. Or is it? It is not. What the heck happened there? Oh, it is. Or it's not. Ah, good grief. Delete. There we go. Yep. So this is cool too, because this is a good way to like troubleshoot things, right? So we can get rid of all the junk that we don't really care about, including your footer here. I don't really care about that either. So what you can do here too is, I don't know if you ever use this, but tidy HTML in the thing here, or tidy CSS, it does that same thing as the beautify extension thing I was just using. There's a whole bunch of this that didn't comment out also, just kind of interesting. Let's delete this again. Boom. Now we just have this one thing we need to look at right now. So we go look at the, actually, just for giggles, what do you want to bet the Font Awesome something you could add in here? Or not. Okay, links, style sheet. Oh, I see what you did the same thing. I did this too. I think Font Awesome's documentation has this link in here, right? Well, this isn't a web link. So what do you want about we are gonna paste this in here and everything's gonna work great? Ta-da, ta-da! We got the little fire there. So there you go. And come back over here and undo all this gobbledygook. Got that. So one of the things I notice here is, let's close this down, and so that's the first thing. You just need to change that. The other thing I do is I always put these links after the title, um, and then I have all my meta stuff up here. Um, Again, if you go to the Bootstrap documentation, there's something here you're kind of missing. So if you go to Get Started, Quick Starter, so it gives you a CDN link. There's Starter Template. And one of the things that's important you do here is use this line here. Sets the viewport to the device width. And the initial scale 1, shrink to fit no. You don't really need to know what all that means, but you just pretty much need to put that at the top of every chunk of code you write for the web. So okay, your header's tight now. Now this is where, can we hit this tidy thing? Tidy HTML. Boom. All of a sudden it's starting to look a lot more organized. So you don't have to write it organized, but you can organize it later just like I did. I have that every once in a while things don't indent right, and that's why I use the Beautify, or you can use this tidy HTML. So div class container. Okay, so I would probably move this closing div thing here to the very bottom because you really want this whole thing to be fluid. And so basically you're going to put it there. So now head's closed, body. I'm just going to hit this for giggles. Now we move that head. You got two titles in here. I don't know if you know that. So this title, you can only have one title tag. I just now noticed that. No, you don't have to go to Bootstrap. You're using Bootstrap. It was in your settings here. You're using Bootstrap 3. So I was looking at Bootstrap 4. There's a few things that changed, but not all the documentation is there for Bootstrap 4 yet. So I don't know which one of these. Probably, I'm saying the top one is the one I would use if I were you, because that's kind of your branding, and that's what's going to appear. Kind of like the spacing on that, the way I've got that set. It's what's going to show up in the header of the web page. So, no problem, man. I'm here to help. So, there we go. We got all of our nav. Nav is, that's pretty well think that. Wonder what happens if we put nav. It's actually a way of doing this. If you look at mine, it's like navbar, nav, and then this is oopsie equals navbar, navbar brand. Boom. I think, look at that. Now everything lines up. Not sure if the colors are still right, but it's probably what I would do there. These are right, but they're not working for whatever reason. Maybe that's because they're not right. So, you need the pound symbol in front of all these, actually. How did I do what? Can you get on the voice chat on the thing? Because I'd really love to be able to hear you in real time. We'll have to go in a second, too. I want to find a good way to pair program. And so if I can figure that out, we can get the voice chat going, then we can just hang out in the Discord. And, so I'm going to save this. You can see my username up there. And now I have a fork of your pin in here. It has all this corrected code, so you can go in there and look at it and see what I did. I'll show you there's a JavaScript trick for this, so you don't ever have to update this number. It'll automatically do it. And then what it'll do is you leave this in here, and then the fallback is if somebody turns off JavaScript, they'll see this. If they have JavaScript on, it'll always be up to date. So it'll be the same thing unless the year changes. So I don't see you showing up in the Discord chat. Fish Tank's here. Don't know, he's offline right now. Got a Twitter account too. Call me. I think that's wrong. I think we already did all that. I can't believe this. I'm going to have to tune up this live streaming thing because I don't really know what I'm doing. But, well, man, I got to run. Hey, I'll chat with you later, and we'll do something like this again. 42 minutes. Who's watching? 2 people watching. How do I want to see who's watching? Maybe it's just me and you. So I think I got to go in here and turn off my live stream.